little little walk in for today. To, this week has been more like an endurance week. I'm gonna try to check in with you guys a little bit more often on this podcast channel. Um, but I wanted to speak about two things. Two things. One thing was on the what is it? Power 98. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Power 98, but it's a radio station. I think they're based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And sometimes they have people that call in and give that little spiel. But I normally listen to Power 98 and then as well as the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Before y'all start to judge me, listen, I think that they have a lot of interesting conversations. And even though I don't necessarily agree with his take on things, I think that again, those conversations that he do address or the conversations that they do have on there, are things that we can listen to and hopefully learn from. So you know what? I'll just go ahead and start with here. So I can't remember what the young lady's name is. It's his co-host. She normally reads the Strawberry Letter. What's her name? Starts with an S or something like that. Shirley, Shirley, something like that. It's one of those things. Anyway, they were having a conversation about a 45-year-old man, and I think the title of it was something about men don't change or something like that when they get to like a certain age. And to to sum everything up, it was a 45-year-old guy, and I don't know how they met, but I know that she did like biking. She did a lot of biking to stay in shape. He did a lot of running to stay in shape, and she was complaining about, I guess, like his mouth or whatever. You know what I mean? He was the curse words that he says in front of her parents or something like that, and as well as just basically just being a little fresh, flirtatious, whatever you want to call it, whatever. Like she didn't really like it. And what he was saying is like, listen, this is how I am, and I'm not gonna change. I done got too old now, and I'm not changing. So take it or leave it. And Steve Harvey said something. He gave his take after they read the letter or whatever, and he was said that men should change and men will change for one woman. Both of those things I completely disagree with. Men will change for a certain type of woman. It's not necessarily just, you know, one woman on this earth that they'll be willing to change for. Everything that I talk about always goes back to a mindset. It's not a certain picture or whatever that guys are looking like. If this is not her, then I don't want it. Men are simple. Men are very, very simple creatures, man. So you're telling me if a guy meets a woman that is peaceful, is cooperative, is fit, feminine, or whatever, but she's not that specific person that that he's not going to go with that. Come on, man. It makes absolutely no sense. So again, I don't necessarily agree with what he was saying about one woman. Men will change for one woman. I think that men will change for a mindset, a certain type of woman with a certain type of mindset. The second thing that he was saying that again that I completely disagree with is, well, or he didn't add anything to it. He was like, all men should change. People, men and women, you are supposed to change. You're not supposed to stay the same. You know what I mean? And if somebody comes into your life or whatever, you want to be with that person, or that person is asking you to be a better version of yourself, then I don't understand why we're not moving towards that. And again, listening to his show, oftentimes everything is always put off on the men, and he never addresses the women, which I understand what it is. Like his callers, most of his viewers, most of his watchers, listeners, or whatever you want to call it, are most of the time single women that don't want to change. And the reason why, you look at those same women in the audience, you look at them, or you look at his audience 5, 10, 15 years from now, and it's the same exact women. in the same situation that they were in when they got there, when they first started listening to him. They it doesn't change because they don't change. What's going on, man? My bad, y'all. Hey, hey, what up? What up? What up? See, we got some love on here. What up, Chloe? What's good? What's good? First, Chloe says first like. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Says hi. What up? What up? YMC Scrappy said, "What up? What's going on? What's good, bro?" Carolina Diaz says, "Hi. What's good? What's good?" But yeah, getting back to the point that I was making. Everybody, I don't care who you are, right? Every day that you get up, you should be looking to improve in some way, in something, because to me, this is just my personal belief. I think that's what life is all about. I think that when you are growing, that's when you're really living. And when you stop trying or when you remain the same, when you're not trying to get better, that's when you start to die. People are out here dying instead of living. And again, just speaking from personal experiences, man, this is a whole nother outlook on life. And I wake up each and every day, regardless of where I am, what situation that I've been in or whatever, things just continue to get better because I'm looking to get better. And those things aren't going to change if you don't change. And so I would definitely appreciate what, again, I know and I understand that's how he getting his bag, that's how he getting his money. And I would never like try to knock anybody for getting money, even though I don't agree, because when you look at the overwhelming majority of the people that are listening to him, because I listen to the callers, the people that call in or whatever, all of them got the same exact talking points, the same as him. Everything is like a freaking echo chamber. And when I look at, or when you look at that echo chamber of people, majority of the time, no results. It might be one in that doggone room. Again, Steve Harvey, I don't necessarily like to, speak about married people, but when you put your stuff out here in the public or whatever, you pretty much open yourself up to it. So let's just go ahead and talk about it, right? Steve Harvey has a young lady, and if you don't know the history of, his wife, then I would encourage you to go check it out. There was a lot of stuff going on. Tasha K had, I don't know if it was her ex-husband or her ex-boyfriend or whatever on her show, and they did a complete deep dive with, what she had going on and whatnot. Again, none of those things I necessarily agree with. How they met, how they started dating allegedly. It's a questionable situation, and I would never ever encourage anybody to put themselves in a situation like that, right? Any guy, right? Because I'm just gonna say, if it's about money, if it's mostly about money, when somebody else come along, they got a bigger bag than you. Let's just say if everything is surface level, then it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time until that person jumps ship, right? But yeah, man, I just had to get my quick little spiel. And I thought that the conversation again, the situation was interesting. And I thought that these conversations need to be had. I just wish that there was a little pushback from somebody, knowing that, he probably not going to hire or even keep people around that's going to continue to challenge, what he says or whatever. Because again, at the end of the day, they're trying to get money, and they're not necessarily, or they may not be necessarily worried about the outcomes and the futures of their listeners. Like, I'm just gonna give you this little fake band-aid that they say waterproof, but as soon as you jump in the water, that thing gonna come off. And you just got to be out here surviving. Good luck. But y'all let me know, man. What do you guys think? Have y'all ever listened, like just sat down and listened to a Steve Harvey or somebody that speaks and talks like him and you paid attention to the comments, the people that's listening or whatever, and you look at those people in their situation, and you know, easily start to see if what they are saying is true, if it's honestly helping those people, or is it hurting them in the long run? Because again, everybody wants, or everybody says that they want that somebody to speak to them, talk to them nice, give them a pat on the back or whatever, and tell them it's gonna be okay and all those things. But we've been doing it. Like society, the world has been doing that for generations. And if you look at how relationships and everything is going right now, most people are failing at it. Most people are failing at life because again, everybody is actively looking for speak to me nice, speak to me soft. I don't want you to be. And I'm not saying that you got to be rude. You know what I mean? I will never get on that train. I will never be one of those people that's gonna rock with that, thinking that in order for you to get your point across, that you got to be loud, you have to use curse words or anything like that. But I do think that a a reality check is going to hurt, regardless. And I think that most of the time when people start to sugarcoat, candy coat things, that most of the time those things come off and a lot of people just lie instead of just telling people the truth. Not gonna be one of those guys, man. Never have been, never will be. So if you don't like what I'm saying, then you shouldn't ask the question, right? If you don't if you don't want a person that's gonna be honest with you, if you don't want a person that's going to continue to, push you in the right direction, like moving forward, then I'm not the type of guy that you want around you. And that's just how it is. That's how it always has been. And this is maybe just I'm just gonna say the rock heel in me, but I'm one of those people that I always test certain limits. Like I'm gonna push you because I wanna see how you respond in certain situations. That's gonna let me know if you got that fight in you. And I have not met anybody in my life that don't have some type of fight in them. And I think that that's just the human nature, fight or flight. And most people, again, when you push them, not even all the way like over edge, but push them to a certain limit, then that kicks in. And if you look at people like David Goggins, some people just do a little bit better at bringing that out at certain times. They know exactly when to do it. You know, they know how to do it. And when you look at them, people like David Goggins, or what's one of them? People like E.T., the hip hop preacher. Anybody that's successful, like any guy that that's successful. I'm telling you, man, that's something that they all have in common. It never fails. And even again, I don't necessarily agree with the things that he says most of the time. Even Steve Harvey, fight or flight, man. I'm pretty sure he had to get through something to get to where he is. That struggle. When that fight kicks in, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, that was just a little spiel on what I listened to today. We're gonna be wearing sweats. So every time y'all see me now, like from now on, especially when it's like this, because I like the heat. I don't mind being in the heat. That's when I wear my shorts and whatnot. But when it starts to get a little bit more on the cooler side and whatnot, then we cover up completely. Because up under there is gonna be like a pile of sweat. I like the sweat. Ain't nothing like it. But anywho, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live right here again. I appreciate all of y'all for coming through. I was honestly surprised that anybody was even gonna be on on today because this is my first time going live on the Truthh Podcast in a while, especially like this, like in the morning. So Yeah, I appreciate everybody that came through, that dropped some likes, the people that's watching right now, and the comments. Appreciate it, man. But I'm gonna get with y'all later. All right, y'all be blessed. Y'all be beautiful. And I'll catch you guys.